back with another episode of Local Roots. Hi, I'm Todd Studer. It was a great Labor Day weekend and a little bit wet, but Saturday was beautiful, and then we got rain for a couple of days. But I would like to give a big thank you to Neola for Hoodoo Days, for the good folks that allowed me to be a judge of the barbecue contest, and I was coached very, very well because there was 8 entries in the barbecue contest, and each entry or each contestant had 3 different meats that they were putting in. There was brisket, there was pork ribs, and there was chicken. And what I was told before we got started was you need to pace yourself because there are going to be a lot of things to taste. So right from the beginning, the first entry that came through was very good. And I'm thinking, boy, this is great. I want to eat more of this. No, don't do that. Not when you're a judge, because you need to leave space and you don't want to be overly full when you get towards the end of the entries. So I just kept passing it on and not eating too much. And I think I did a pretty good job. By the time that I got to the end of it, I was okay. Yeah, I was full, but I wasn't suffering. However, the food was wonderful. Every one of them did a great job. The flavors were just wonderful. And I want to thank you again to everyone, the folks at the Bucksnort who hosted the event, and also everyone involved with Hoodoo Days. It was a really great time, and I had a wonderful Saturday. And then the rain moved in, and I just kind of hunkered down, even made soup on Sunday. It was cool enough that I thought, you know what, let's just dive into fall a little bit early. What do you say? So made some chicken soup, and that turned out pretty well too. Coming up today, somebody new on the program. His name is Cliff McEvoy, and Cliff is the executive director for an organization called the Collective for Hope. And what they do is help people through their grief, wherever they happen to be on that grief journey. And they are doing more and more into Southwest Iowa. And he has an announcement about that is coming up on today's show. He chose us to be the platform where he first made this announcement. So you're going to want to listen to this conversation. Again, Cliff McEvoy from the Collective for Hope, today's guest on Local Roots. If you're looking for all natural health solutions in Southwest Iowa, Bambi's Green Acres Natural Market. She's located in Council Bluffs. She's been serving the community since 1997. When you shop her store, you're going to find vitamins. You'll find supplements, essential oils, herbal remedies, also a lot of different foods that she has there at Bambi's Green Acres Natural Market. It's all sourced locally and staffed with over 37 years of experience. Bambi can help you reach your health goals. It is Bambi's Green Acres Natural Market, putting health in your hands. Her shop located at 805 South Main Street in Council Bluffs. If you are looking to buy or sell your home, you need to get a hold of Blake Hunter. He is your trusted realtor with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. Blake knows the local market and is dedicated to helping you find the perfect place to call home. He also hosts a popular podcast called Hunting Home, where he shares insights, tips, and the latest trends in real estate. So whether you're a first-time buyer, maybe you're upgrading, or are you ready to sell your current home? Blake Hunter is here to guide you every step of the way. Visit his website, blakehunter.homes, and start hunting for your dream home with confidence. Joining us this morning, it is Cliff McEvoy, the executive director for the Collective of Hope. Thank you very much, Cliff, for your time. And also thank you for when you came and visited our little networking group, the Council Bluffs Business Connection. I know that you kind of made an impact on that group when you came over and spoke. And that's how we got connected. And I thought, you know what? We should help tell your story a little bit more and everything that the Collective of Hope does, because I'm not sure everybody knows what it is that you do. So again, thank you for being on the show today.
Well, and thank you for having me. And the impact went both ways at the networking group, because if memory serves me, I joined your group on the spot. Because sometimes you can tell when you walk into a room or shortly after the conversation you have, this is a group I want to be a part of. And that's the community we want to serve better. So
this is just to kind of tag on to that. That's one of the reasons I belong to it. As far as networking groups go, the Council Bluffs Business Connection is the best I've ever been a part of, because it goes past just,
Yeah.
trading referrals back and forth to each other. You can tell that's a group of friends,
Right.
and they're very welcoming. So again,
And look at
great.
us. We're modeling that right now. So good on us.
Exactly. Tell us about the Collective for Hope. What is it that this organization does?
Yeah. So if you would indulge me, I'd like to just reference our history.
Yeah.
The Collective for Hope, we are sometimes more recognized by our previous names. So Teddy Bear Hollow and Grief's Journey. So our origin story in the communities that we serve starts like a lot of nonprofits in the community. There were some families back in the late 90s who had kids that were experiencing some traumatic loss and grief, and they went out into the community to see if they could get some support. And honestly, when they couldn't find what they were looking for, they did what some families do, and they created it themselves. And then they banded together with a few other families, and that became Teddy Bear Hollow. Teddy Bear Hollow started as a single summer camp for kids experiencing grief back in the late 90s. And then we became a nonprofit in 2001, and grew as an organization to support not just kids, but adults as well. And now we are the only nonprofit in the Omaha metro area that provides support for both kids and adults and families. So anyone, anywhere on their grief's journey, if there's anything we can do for a kid or a family or an adult who is impacted by the loss of a loved one, that's what we're here to do.
Well, I think that right now you're talking to 100% of the people, because this is something that affects every one of us.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm thinking about the times that, we've had loss in my own family. And initially, everybody around us kind of circles around, and, people bring food and all of that. And then everybody goes on with their lives, but we're still sitting there in it. And we're still oftentimes, okay, how do I move forward from here? Where do I go from here? And really isn't a whole lot of options at that point. So that's when I learned about your organization. I thought, this is great. This is a place for, once we hit that stage, now we've got somewhere to go, because oftentimes it's not a fast journey that we're on.
Right. And, thank you for saying that, because grief is one of those things, like you said, it's universal, it's ubiquitous, it's inevitable, but it's also unique. It's a little bit different for everybody. And yet there is strength in knowing that you're not going through it alone. So, I would say at the core of everything we do at the Collective for Hope is that our goal is to walk alongside you on your journey and let you know you are not alone. And everyone at the Collective for Hope, it's shared lived experience. We all here at Collective for Hope have experienced all the different types of loss that we support in the community. And we are trained to be grief group facilitators. And that's what we do. We create that, frankly, brave, safe space. It could be a day after your loss. It could be a week, a month. It could be 5 years later. But we create that safe, brave space where you can come together in community and be together and know that you're not alone.
And you talk about that journey, and also it is unique, because I know that, and if he watches this, I'm sorry to my brother for mentioning me here today, but he and I, we lost our dad.
Yeah.
But we have experienced this process differently.
Yeah.
And he walks the journey that he needs to. I do the one that I need to, and we still connect. I just talked to him last weekend, but it's different. And we both have, without even talking about it, have given each other the room to have that individual experience.
And if it's okay for me to ask, can I ask you what your dad's name is?
Dave.
Dave. Yeah.
Dave.
Thank you for sharing that.
I have his my middle name. I was named after my dad. Yeah.
Yeah. What I did there was I was modeling something that we like to do here at the Collective for Hope. We believe and we know there is power in your person's name. And very often we refer to our losses or our loved ones I do, part of my grief journey is my dad as well. And we tend to say, I lost my dad. My dad died a few years ago. But one of the things we also like to do, what's your person's name? You know, when anyone comes into the Collective for Hope, especially for our family group, we have a chalk wall where we ask everyone to share their person's names, because there's power in that. And it's also, grief is one of those things where there is duality, right? There is happiness in a memory remembered, but even when you remember that happy memory, you're also reminded that your person is gone, right? An example I always give, my dad, I always think of my dad when I watch Field of Dreams and cry a little bit more at that final scene when they're playing catch together. But even in crying, watching Field of Dreams, I'm also remembered of like funny stuff that he did, like this one time when he farted too loud in church, right? So there's duality in that. But when we model, even with my own son, when my mom passed away, I went a year without talking about her. And my son and I came through Collective for Hope and went through our family group. And one of the things we started doing is talking about her more. My daughter started asking me what her name was because they didn't know her all that too well. But I hope, like when you say your dad's name, Dave, like you have that innate feeling, that power that comes with saying their name out loud, to also give you the support or remind you of the duality of that loss, but in a good and bad way, if that's okay for me to say. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense, because when you did that, I felt it.
Yeah.
I
Right.
did. I mean, that was a very personal thing that you just did for me. And I felt it, and for me, the night that my dad died, I wrote him a letter, and it was it was kind of surprising to me how everything went in my own head with all of that. And I just thanked him for everything. And how that happened and why I went there, I'm not sure. But I'm glad that I did. Because it was a big help. And again, this is my walk, but there's so many different people that you help that are all on their own journey and have their own personal experiences and things and the ways that they're dealing with it.
Right. And there are different types of loss. There's no hierarchy to grief or loss, but there is a community around different types of loss. So one of the things that we do is we have different groups. Well, first of all, we know from the families that come to Collective for Hope, the top three reasons why someone might come receive our grief support is suicide, cancer, or accidental overdose. And we just know that from some of our intake and from some of our surveys of our families. And so we took that information and we understood that in our community, we can have a grief group for suicide loss. We have a grief group for pregnancy and infant loss. We have a grief group for just adults, which can include any type of loss. But we provide, again, that safe, brave space for an entire community or for maybe a specific community based off of your type of loss. That makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. And something else that you had talked about at the meeting that you attended with us was you're looking to have more of a presence in Iowa and to let folks know on this side of the river, because you're based out of Omaha, but it's everyone in all across Southwest Iowa, they all have experiences of this in their own life. And to just, I think, step one, make them aware that you exist, right?
Right. And first and foremost, we're free and inclusive. The last thing we want anyone to worry about when they walk through the doors of the Collective for Hope is if there's any cost associated with this, right? And so we fundraise, we write grants, we make sure that we can provide this at absolutely no cost, because it's all one community and we're here to serve you any part of your journey, if that makes sense. And when I mentioned our origin story and that camp that started in the late 90s, and so, COVID was tough on Collective for Hope. Our last camp was right before COVID, and happy to kind of announce for the first time on this show that we're bringing that camp back.
Wow.
And we are intentionally and purposely going to have it in Southwest Iowa. Location, venue, TBD, along with the date. But
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, it's going to be next summer. So we're going to bring back Camp Hope because we serve Omaha and Council Bluffs in Southwest Iowa, but our current program space is in Omaha. So right now, families come to Omaha to receive our services, and our goal in the next few years is to take our services to Southwest Iowa and provide them locally in the community. And
Well,
we're going to start by bringing back Camp Hope.
well,
So
tell me a little bit about the camp. Is this is it a day camp? Is it an overnight camp? How does it work?
So it's going to be an overnight camp. And we do quarterly youth activities, which has been one of the areas of growth our last 2 years. And I should also mention, due to an amazing team here at Collective for Hope, we've grown in the last 2 years. We were serving around 2,000 individuals 2 years ago, and now we're up to over 5,000. And we know there's more to serve, right? And one of the areas that we focused on was in our youth activities. So we started with a pilot youth activity, getting kids out into nature. It was fishing and hiking, and we took that and we expanded it to 4 a year, and we included some arts related activities, some movement, and fun stuff for kids. And now we're going to take all of those day camps and turn it into an overnight camp next summer. So
Is this and I'm fascinated by this because I camp, so this is the type of thing that this is just right up my alley. Is it like going to be a tent type of thing? Are you looking for a facility that actually has cabins, or what is it that you're hoping to find?
We're looking for cabins.
Yeah, cabins. Okay,
We're looking for cabins. Yeah, and everything, so when you come to a grief group at Collective for Hope or our flagship program, which is our family group, we have specific grief topics, and we use the real words, right? We use death and dying, just like saying a person's name. There's real power in using words, right? And so, not every kid wants to come to a grief group or come to family group and talk about grief first and foremost and up front. So our youth activities, everyone that is there is someone who is experiencing grief and loss, but we also let kids be kids, right? So, we start with fun activities. We start with art expression. We start with last year we did a really cool, it was called Rise and Vibe. It was like movement and expression. And we all ended up doing an interpretive dance at the end of the day, which somewhere out there's a video of me and 3 kids doing an interpretive grief dance. So if you want me to send you that footage,
That'd be fun.
But our youth activities and this camp is going to be fun first and then support second, if that makes sense.
It does. And it's also I'm thrilled that you're bringing it back. And
right. And for every kid that comes to camp, you will know every other kid there is there for the same reason.
Right.
So that alone, you walk into that room, you're not alone. Yeah.
Yes, that's a perfect way to describe it. You also have an event coming up much sooner in I think the first week of October. What's happening with that?
So October 4th at Heartland of America Park. For 11 years now, we do October is Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month. And so we do a remembrance walk. You can walk around the park, remember your child or your lost pregnancy. We also do a reading of the names, and we also do a remembrance banner. So free and inclusive. And we do ask if you want a picture on the banner to please pre-register. Or we have T-shirts, and we will have vendors. We'll have sound healing. We'll have different art-related activities for kids. So it is a family-friendly atmosphere, but it's also an opportunity, again, for us to come together in community and remember the loss.
Is the way to get registered for that is just by going to your website?
Yeah, just go to our website, click on the banner for events. and it's right there. So collectiveforhope.org. You can see our events every year, and this is the next one coming up for us. So.
Well, I am hopeful, Cliff, that you continue to stay in touch as you have events coming up. Let us know here. We'll help get the
Yeah.
word out about that. And also, especially with that camp, I'm like zeroed in on that now. That is just because for me personally, I know that this is what works for me when I'm out in nature and I can get out and I feel, for lack of a better way of putting it, more grounded.
Yes.
It helps to do that. And it also helps to be in different types of situations. So, or in different locations. So chances are a lot of these young people that are going to be there probably be the first time they've been to that location. And I think that too has a lot of power in it. So it's going to be interesting to see where you find and when all of that comes together. So but you don't have dates picked for it yet, correct?
We do not. No.
Okay. Yeah, but it's just you made the decision it's going to do it.
We made the decision. We're going to do it. We're going to bring it back. Yeah. And you're right. There are incredible healing properties by being out into nature. We see it every day in the work that we do, from kids to adults. So I think one of my favorite stories is a young man who was in one of our family groups, and he was struggling in group. Honestly, didn't really want to be there, right? But we had a hiking and fishing activity coming up, and we knew that he was making friends outside of group. And so we asked him to go, if he would be interested in going to the fishing day camp, right? And this young man wanted to catch a fish so bad, right? He was down at the shoreline trying to catch a fish. It was a windy morning, couldn't really get one. He asked us to bring his lunch down to the shoreline so he didn't have to stop fishing, right? And just like out of a movie, we were like, hey man, we have to go do this hike now as a group. One last cast, try one more time and see what happens. And he did it. He reeled in a fish. It was like basically a proof of concept to the rest of the camp, like this is possible. And the smile on his face, Todd, from catching that fish, was not a smile we saw at family group, but we saw it outside on a shoreline catching a fish. He went on the hike. He had a great time. And then when he came back to family group, he brought that smile with him, and he was more engaged in the group. He brought other kids out of their shells so that we could all have a very honest, open, and that brave, safe space. So that's what we try to do. We try to think of different ways at the Collective for Hope to connect with you individually, but also bring you back into our community.
That's a perfect example of because what you did was, I mean, you didn't put the fish on the end of that hook for him. Didn't. But you provided an opportunity for that to happen. You never know which is going to be successful. So you just create different opportunities of where things can happen. And then that's the type of thing. And I'm also going to guess that when he did that, it was contagious. And a lot of the other people that were there, they are now feeling that same thing that he was feeling.
Yeah, and all the other kids were like, what's going on? Are there no fish in this lake? But we came back from the hike, went back to the lake, and then almost every other kid ended up catching a fish. Wow. So you're right. Yeah. And honestly, one of the things we also say here at Collective for Hope, it's an honor for us to be able to witness that, because you're right. You set the stage and hope for the best. And we work at Collective for Hope. We understand working in the realm of hope, and we also say what an honor it is. We have a new website that's going to be launching in a month, and our tagline is going to be honoring grief together. So
perfect.
I think those three words say a lot.
Yeah, the fishing story. I mean, you put memories back into my head. I mean, it was part of. I gave the eulogy at my dad's funeral.
Me too.
And one of the things that I talked about was a fishing trip, and how we. It was the time that I was either 7 or 8, and he was teaching me how to tie a hook to the end of the line. And I remember standing there. It was dusk when he was doing it. My little brother was there. My grandfather was there. And I remember him saying, watch close. I'm only going to show you this once, which was a complete lie because he showed it to me a lot of times. but,
Yeah.
but you know, that has stuck with me. And it was one of the first things as I'm putting together his eulogy. It was one of the things that I remembered. And so bringing that up, those kind of stories really resonate with me. And it's such a huge thing that young person was able to have that experience.
Yeah.
And I know that, however long ago it was, I can guarantee you he still thinks about that.
I agree. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, it reminded me of something else too. We had several of the kids at our fishing day camp as well had never done that before. And I remember they were taught how to tie that. What do you call it? I'm not a fisher. You're going to have to help me out here. What to set up the pole, right?
Right.
Yeah. To tie the hook on everything.
And you got to get the sinker on. If you're doing it with a bobber, you got to get that in the right, all that different stuff. Yeah.
Yes. And what your story just reminded me is we had an amazing group of volunteers that showed up to help us with that camp. And they helped every kid. And sometimes they had to do it once or twice or multiple times, just like your story, right? To teach it and also allow for, the magic to happen. And so I also say all that to say we do rely on volunteers at Collective for Hope to come support our activities, our groups, or our day camps. And so I distinctly remember we had great volunteers that day that were helping every single kid set up their pole. So, yeah. So that's another thing. If any of your listeners are interested, we very much appreciate volunteers.
So it's at thecollectiveforhope.org is the website. You can find out all the information. You can learn more about how to get registered for the Remembrance Walk coming up on October 4th. And we're going to keep an eye out for when that camp is going to happen and help spread the word about that too. Cliff McEvoy, Executive Director for the Collective of Hope. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the work that you're doing. And thank you for being willing to come on and join us here on this platform.
Well, and thank you so much for letting me share a little bit about what we do and for you sharing with me. We really appreciate that.
We need organizations like the Collective for Hope and the work that Cliff McEvoy is doing there. It helps grow all of our communities and helps serve in a place where all of us eventually are going to go through grief. If you haven't yet, it is going to happen. And it's great that this exists. And I'm looking forward to finding out more about their camping trip and their camp that they're going to be having for young people. So we'll pass that information along as it becomes available. Castle and Associates of American Family Insurance, your local insurance provider for all of your home, auto, life, business, and farm insurance needs. 4 convenient locations. They're located in Trainer. They're also in Council Bluffs and then across the river in Bellevue and in Elkhorn. They are local and in your neighborhood, ready to help you navigate the complexities of insurance today. Travis and his team educate, advise, and simplify insurance, all to protect those things you cherish most. Give them a call for your free quote. And are you in the market for stylish, locally curated fashion that's close to home? Visit Unique Boutique Iowa. They are at 101 4th Street in Neola, your destination for trendy clothing, accessories, and distinctive gifts. Owned and styled by Jamie Bush. She is a Neola mom and former educator. Unique Boutique Iowa brings a homegrown passion for quality and community to every piece. She's open on the weekends, Saturdays 10 to 2, Sundays 11 to 3, but you can shop 24 hours a day, 7 days a week online at shopubiowa.com. Unique Boutique Iowa, distinctive styles, heartfelt service, right in Neola. Congratulations to the area football teams. How about Underwood getting that win over Harlan Friday in our last weekend? Can you believe that? That was a big win for the Eagles, and they've started off the season very, very strong, and they're going to be contenders in Class 1A. I would expect after a win over a ranked team in 3A, they're going to rocket up close to the top of the 1A rankings. Also, big congratulations to Trainer. They got a win. Tri-Center was victors over the weekend. So congratulations all of the area teams. And we'll have a lot of fun watching you as things progress in all of the rest of the fall sports going around at the area high schools. We're going to keep in touch with the activities directors and also some coaches and have more of them on the show as the season moves ahead. That wraps up the show for today as we are back in action after a long and wonderful Labor Day weekend. My name is Todd Studer. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning.